tomorrow. As we go in game, first thing is first, we are going to be having to drop it away from Newfoundland's name and put that as PtitDrogo instead. Let's move that up. It should just about fit in there. Perfect. Alright, let's do this then. Let's introduce our players to the bottom left hand side of the map. Our red bronze player is going to be PtitDrogo, representing my insanity. His opponent to the bottom right hand side from Team Liquid will be the blue Zerg player. Let's see it, guys. If you're cheering on, Snute. All of these players did get voted in by a Chinese vote for their invites. So the players who were kind of voted the highest did get their invites into the invited into this tournament, which is of course good to know. It means the Chinese players kind of get to watch who they want to watch. Convenient that a lot of the players were already in IEM Shanghai as well, meaning that it was a lot easier for them to well, they were already in Shanghai and able to just go from one event to the other without any real concern, any real issue. As we're all going to be seeing this hatchery coming up on the natural expansion, Drogo with a very standard expand as well. Last time we saw him play in New Gettysburg, he was playing a couple of times the kind of 2 gateway opening before the Nexus and going into a very aggressive double adept multiple oracle play and sort of setting up aggressively from that and then into an expansion against the Zerg player. So it was a little bit quirky, it was a little bit different. He had some success. In fact, he only did it in 1 game, if I'm actually going to correct myself, because he did only do it in 1 game. But it was a little bit, it was interesting to say the least. Again, it was a tough group stage for PtitDrogo, Group D, which we saw just on Thursday. He lost in the first match 0-2 against Tudming, and then he just managed to take down Ayasonu in the losers bracket, while Scarlet was busy taking down Tudming to advance her in first place. And then Drogo ended up in the finals match, and he played against Tudming again, and he just managed to win that one 2-1. So it was a very shaky group stage performance out of Drogo. Definitely wasn't the most solid of PVZs from him. So again, hopefully he took something from that, and hopefully he can bring something a little bit stronger to the table today, because Snute's the sort of player where if he plays like he did the other day, Snute's not going to let him get away with a victory in this, I don't think. Snute's definitely my favourite, just based on the performances we saw from both players so far. I mean, Snute looked very good in his group. He took down Time 2-0. It was ZvT, obviously a different matchup, but took down Time 2-0. Played against Marine Lord. He got shut down in Game 1 when he went for an aggressive opening. Games 2 and 3, played Macro, and he was the one who was doing the defending. He was the one who was shutting everything down and playing very, very well. So far in this tournament, we've seen these two players really playing on different levels, but let's see what Drogo can bring to the table here today. It's going to be the Stargate here on New Gettysburg. Not much of a surprise. Resonating Glaives doesn't really work out as a build order because of the ability to block off over here and stop those adepts from coming across the map. The Stargate, or a Robo Facility and a Warp Prism, is generally the kind of agreed upon way to kind of play this map as a Protoss player. Now, of course, there is still choices which come from the Stargate opening, and the choice here from PtitDrogo is to go into Phoenix over Oracle. So he's going to open with the Phoenix play. We'll be using those throughout the game, of course, to harass, scout, and just in general be very annoying to the Zerg player. And the Stude's response to this will probably be to go in towards a Hydra's den very early on with a lair, and to probably from there go into muscular augments and commit to Hydras in the early stages. Committing to very fast lurkers against Phoenix doesn't usually work out, because then Phoenix, if they're kept alive... The problem with very fast lurkers is you only have a few of them initially, and you don't have many Hydras to back them up. And so the Phoenix can come in and lift up a lot of them and really shut them down. So generally we should see Snute here going into muscular augments. But that's still a few minutes away. I mean, we still talk about him having to go into a lair, into a Hydra's den before all of that. So that still has to get set up and ready to go. So a little while here yet, as we are going to be seeing that Phoenix just coming up the left-hand side, will go across the top. As we're going to be seeing a second Phoenix as well, going to be looking to join up with it very soon. I think it's going to come in and actually commit onto those Adepts. And they are going to take down one of them, the other one going to go down to you, and the Probe. So Suits Lings here do find success in the early stages of the game, picking off 2 Adepts, a Probe, just slowing down the taking of this third base. The Phoenix around the top side of the map haven't done too much just yet. They're currently hunting for Overlords. But Snute has actually only lost 1 Overlord so far, and we're going to be seeing his other Overlords have all been kept back at home. So Snute not going to be taking much damage at all just yet to the Phoenix. More Lings getting ready to go. They're going to come up to the front. They're going to find themselves a pylon. Motion Core is over towards the third base, so that's going to have to pull back now. The Adepts are going to have to come back in here as well. Overcharge will pop, and Snute should not continue to commit onto that. And he doesn't. He backs away as these Phoenix just going to sit between the third base and the natural. That allows him to pick off any units transfer in between, whether it's a queen, whether it's a drone or two. Anything it is, it means he can pick off those units without taking any damage on the Phoenix, with running into spore crawlers and so on and so on. Of course, you've got the shields to work with. You still have to be somewhat careful, as this queen here, I was going to say, I think is a little bit out of position, and it is going to get lifted up, and it is going to be the first kill of the Phoenix this game. So queen goes down, and some of the gas drones are going to get taken down here as well. I mean, Snute sees that this is Phoenix. He's going to actually add on 9 roaches, and we might see 1 or 2 Ravagers to help him close the Bile Phoenix, which are lifting certain units. But for the most part, Snute should just be droning, because he knows he will take damage to these Phoenix. It's inevitable. In fact, it's very difficult, in fact almost impossible, to play against Phoenix and not lose some workers, because they're just that sort of unit which you're not going to immediately early in the game have a way to shut them down, and so you just have to deal with them moving around in mineral lines and picking up workers until killing off your workers. So you just sort of have to deal with that for a long time. And the best way to deal with that is to actually just say, well, you know what, I'm going to make a lot of drones, more drones than I need. That way, when I lose some, I'm actually on the correct worker count. And because generally, Phoenix play doesn't lead into any sort of super aggressive follow-up, at least not in this immediate future, you can get away with that sort of extra droning. And of course, you can always keep on scouting to try and figure out whether you should or shouldn't be continuing to drone as well. As Snute takes a 4th base, a macro hatch in the main as well. He's gone into melee upgrades. We're looking for kind of a Zergling heavy playstyle here early on. We don't actually see anything like a lair from him just yet, so it's a very delayed lair out of Snute in game 1 of this. As we do see Drogo add on 3 extra gates, going into a Resonating Glaives upgrade to begin with on the Twilight Council. And so he is going to have like a Phoenix Adept composition, but I feel as though Snute's composition so far is starting to head into a very good situation against that. We see a Bane Nest on the way up. He's actually moving across the map here with his Zerglings once again. He did make some Roaches earlier, remember, and he has now currently got those split up around his bases, ready to defend anything that might be coming in here towards him anytime soon. So the Roaches split up, ready to defend, and the Bane Nest on the way will help a lot with Adept playstyles. The Lair Time Dance, he's going to finish that up just after +1 upgrade, I think. And so you will be able to go straight into his +2 if you would like. Otherwise, he might actually just go into +1 missile attack and set up ready to help out against those, help those Hydras out, which he'll probably go into as well, unless he just wants to play only Ling Bane. As we're going to see 11 drones being picked off here. The Phoenix, again, doing their job. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, Snute's already overmade drones, and he's actually overmaking drones once again. Going to go past the 80 worker mark for the 2nd time. As we'll see, those Phoenix will just back away. Snute takes the 5th base. I mean, this really is Macro City. As Snute realizes that this attack is coming, he'll see it now, the potential of an attack, as he sees with the Zerglings, those Adepts, those Sentries. Actually see Drogo going to attack through the top side of the map. He's got +1 on the way. It's going to finish shortly. Snute going to morph his early Roaches into Ravagers now, which will help a little bit with their fights. It will force his opponent to back away, to disengage a little bit. It will maybe force some lost damage time when he's pulling back in those sort of scenarios. So the Ravagers, the Corrosive Biles, very useful. Again, if the Phoenix lift anything as well, the Ravagers can drop Biles on top of them. Maybe can hit some Immortals with the Biles too. And of course, most importantly, he can also break the Force Fields. Now this 5th base from Snute, probably just going to be given up. Snute will probably buy as much time as he can here and will not want to engage until as late as possible. And the 5th base is not something he's immediately going to commit into defending. As we'll see Snute, a few Banes on the way up. He doesn't have that many already though. His Bane speed is also not yet finished. So it's turning into quite a good timing here for our Protoss player. However, this army is being split up. The Roaches are kind of going to fight against the Immortals and the Sentries to the left side. The Lings fight against the Adepts on the main base. And on the 4th base, sorry. And Snute actually takes a very good fight here. Drogo splitting up his army. That's not how that was meant to go, I don't think. We'll see a couple of Biles onto a Warp Prism. He will kill that off, which is nice. As we see the Queens coming in, continuing to push those Phoenix away. As we're going to be seeing another hatchery again rebuilt here, so he's ready to retake that 5th base. Again, Drogo, a very weird move there where he sent the Adepts to the 4th base, but the rest of the army was still stuck in location over here. And that army being stuck over in this sort of setup over in this position, well, that just doesn't bode well for him at all. And you can see there, it was actually very fortunate that Snute didn't maybe pull the Lings over to that left-hand side. If he pulled his Lings over to the left, I think that would have gone much worse for Drogo. As we're going to see the Lings trying to hit a 4th base here. Drogo has enough units to defend with for now, though. He's starting to go into Colossi, something we're seeing more and more of in the PvZ matchup nowadays as the meta continues to evolve here in Legacy of the Void. And we're seeing those Zerglings just sat on the Watchtower. A lot of Bane's going to start morphing in here. Now, that Colossus count not going to be super high immediately. 2 of them being built right now, but it is the first 2. So this attack that Snute's starting to set himself up in towards has a lot of potential to really, really be very, very dangerous for Drogo to deal with right now. These Zerglings continue to spam on 4s. We're going to see Roaches and Ravagers starting to work their way through those rocks. A few drones going down again. This time the Phoenix are not being in position to defend, as we actually see the first Phoenix of the game dying. We're going to be seeing these Lings spreading out. The Bin's going to get ready to come in as well. That Colossus is out on its own. The force field's coming to the right-hand side. The Colossus goes down so quickly, though. I mean, the force fields aren't helping too much against a lot of these Zerglings, as the Banelings crash on through, and Drogo is going to lose absolutely everything. Baneling's going to be saved here because he knows the Lings will deal with this very easily. And we're just going to be seeing the Banes going up in towards the third base as well. And just going to crash into pretty much everything here. Probe's starting to go down. I mean, Snute just has so much, and you're going to see another Colossus is about to fall. It's going to try and get away. Does end up going down, though. Another Baneling or two will crash in, clean up a bunch more depths over on the third base. A few Ravagers on the fourth will try and work their way against this. And, well, I mean, Snute is sort of slowing down a little bit on this left-hand side, but there's more Zerglings, and that will help him to just continue to clean things out over here. Roadbay being targeted down. A couple of pylons aren't going to help too much either. GG is called, and Snute takes the first game of this best of 5 series. Game number 2 of this best of 5. Let's see how this is gonna go. Down again to the top of the left hand side of the map is going to be our red Protoss player. It's going to be PtitDrogo, representing my insanity. And to the bottom right hand from Team Liquid, it is going to be our blue Zerg. He's 1-0 up in this best of 5 right now. It is going to be Snute. So Drogo, a little bit frustrated after the first game. Let's see if he can keep himself pull himself together, keep his mind in the right place as he set up into game number 2 of this series right about now. So, I mean, King Sejong again, let's just sort of take a little bit of a look at the map. Obviously, I mean, the main base isn't too important to mention in terms of PvZ. I mean, obviously, there's potential to kind of drop up here with Lings and so on, but that's probably about it for the PvZ matchup. The main base, I mean, the mineral line is kind of very safe as well. This natural mineral line is very exposed for Stargate play. Sometimes we see Resonating Glares. I mean, this is a map where anything goes, really, in terms of Protoss openings. Those back rocks can be very frustrating for Protoss later on. That's something the Zerg might try to utilize as a way to kind of harass around the map. You know, a big attack to the left-hand side while also setting up to the right to run in towards this third base. Well, that third base can be well protected with a set of, you know, with a wall off here as well. And again, the choice of fourth base to the far right, to the center, depending on what sort of composition you're playing, and how the game is going as well, whether you can hold a forward base or whether you've got to hold one that's just positioned a little bit further back. As we'll set up into game number 2 of this right now, obviously, Snute is going to be feeling confident with a pretty commanded victory in game number 1, nothing really going wrong for him. Just set up safely, set up well, didn't kind of overcommit to anything, and just sort of played it out correct. When he saw the opportunity to take a good fight, he took it. He defended his fourth base when the Adepts shaded over there. He kept the, you know, the Mortals and the Sentries from from joining up with those Adepts. That's a big deal, you know. A few force fields can go a long way to change any sort of fight which involves Zerglings. So that was a little bit of a shame, as we're going to be seeing that Overlord from Snute. Just checking to the left-hand side, looking as though he's checking for proxies here early with the second Overlord, and then just pulling it back to somewhere. Actually just backing towards his own main base, so maybe afraid of the Stargate opening again. And it is going to be that Stargate opening once more, so just want to kind of, you know, just want to try and keep as much alive as possible, as we're going to be seeing that Stargate coming up in the main base. So Stargate this time around might not be for the Phoenix though. Obviously there is that potential to go into the Oracle playstyle as well, whenever you open with the Stargate, so that's something we can look out for here, as we do see Drogo with a single Adept shading down towards the bottom right hand side of the map. Just looking to pick up some early information here for the Protoss player. So Adept just looking around, we're going to be seeing that Queen starting to work his way through that Adept, doing a little bit of damage onto this right here. And there is that Oracle on the way up right now from Drogo. So Oracle is on the way up. You're going to be seeing that starting to move down towards the bottom right side of the map very soon. We'll probably see a couple of Oracles from him here. We'll see if he wants to go into a third one. This is something he's done now and then. Go into more than just 2 Oracles and really go for, like, you know, look to pick off the Queens, join it up with some Adepts, and really get damage done in the early stages of the game. I don't think it will be. He's moving towards a third base. He's looking to just kind of get this Oracle out to get some map control, harass a little bit, and then some more. As we see, the third Nexus is going to start up. Rotron on the way from Snute. So this time around, I think he went for the Rotron last time as well, right? He made some Roaches for safety's sake, and then he didn't really use them. He made them into Ravagers a little bit later on, so he did kind of use them, just not super early, but it did keep him safe against any potential aggression. As this first Oracle coming across the map, and the second one starts up in the production tab, so we are going to see those 2 Oracles joining up together. Again, 2 oracles are just so much better than 1. The speed at which you can kill drones, well, doubles. That means you one-shot the drones, so it seems a lot more effective. You take a lot more kind of hull damage on the oracles as well. 4 workers here with the first oracle, not bad at all. He's picked off 1 zerglin so far as well, which is why the oracle is up to 5 kills already. The 4 drones, not bad. Obviously, 2 oracles as well, very good for keeping map control. Revelation's going to be open to you as well to keep track of where that Zerg army is moving throughout the game. And that's going to be important as Drogo sets up to a nice early third base, just to make sure he always knows where his opponent might be attacking from. Melee upgrades once again from Snute, who might be looking to play something similar to what you just played in game number 1. And that melee upgrade is on the way. 10 Zerglin is just going to be finishing up here in the next couple of moments, so... Just going to be seeing the second oracle joining up here. A couple of lings from Snute. We'll be spotting those. I mean, again, seeing the second oracle is not much of a surprise for him at all. It's pretty much what he'd expect. And there's the very sort of standard follow-up from a Stargate player once the third base is up to get into everything else you need for the next, for the next minutes of the game, which is the Robo for observers, Warp Prism, some Immortal production, perhaps going up in towards Robo Bay Tech as well. You got the Forge coming down to get those upgrades rolling, and the Twilight Council to make sure those gateway units are up to par for the later stages of the game. Now we'll see if he goes Resonating Glaives again here very early on. He might choose to go into Blink straight away, so he loses an Oracle. Always a shame, especially when he's kind of going out of the base alive, and then you lose it to the Queen. There's a little bit of a shame there from Drogo, a bit of a mistake. He does drop down the Blink, so it is going to be a bit of a different opening then from Drogo. Not going into that Resonating Glaives. The Blink is generally very good against sort of Ling Bane styles, because Lings and Banes don't trade super well against Blink Stalker Sentry, in my opinion. So I feel as though this is definitely a bit of a stronger setup, and again, what we'll probably see is Drogo going for like an attack in the near future, which is going to be sort of Stalker Sentry focused with +1 upgrades finished, with a couple of Immortals mixed in. Very Heartless Swarm-esque, only without the +2, only with +1, just because of the way the build orders work out. Single Oracle still moving around, hasn't picked up any more damage, hasn't even dropped another Revelation yet, so nothing really too important going down over here. +1 melee about to finish, the Bane Nest finishing as well. Snute getting ready to go into Bane speed, and will once again play this sort of Ling Bane style in the early stages of the game. It's actually a very, it's actually almost a very Chinese kind of centric style. This sort of massive Ling Bane Roach, which we're seeing out of Snute. We saw Ayasunu playing this against Drogo the other day. For example, the Chinese Zergs like to play very aggressively usually, and this is the sort of style that they would love. So Snute, maybe taking a little bit from those guys, but at the same time, I mean, we've seen Ling Bane in the past. It's not maybe been the most popular of ways to play most recently, although it's definitely something we still see mixed in. Very intriguing that Snute plays it 2 games in a row here. Obviously feeling very confident with this sort of playstyle right now. As we see Blink about to finish a second Robo and a Robo base, so we're not going to see Drogo really committing to an attack at all here early on. He is in fact just going to be looking to tech up in the early stages. Snute runs around, just tries to pick up whatever information he can, of course. Sees the army composition right now, that it is just going to be kind of a mixture of units. And nothing too surprising for him as the Revelation comes down to the bottom left-hand side. Oracle picks up 1 more kill and then gets out of there after losing its shields and a good chunk of its health. So Oracle will pull all the way back again. Stalker's moving forward. See that Nexus on the 4th base going to start getting set up. Players 2s in different 4th bases. I mean, without the Lurkers, you would expect Snute to kind of take the base that's kind of a little bit further back. It's more potential here. If you take this base than this base, there's a lot more potential to wrap around your opponent, to surround him if he tries to come in for an attack. And that's what that Ling Bane style is going to be very good at, in comparison to, say, the Lurker style, which is very good at holding one position, in which case that forward base is much better to take. So Snute taking that left-hand base. Drogo takes the forward base because, again, his army should be standing out on the map and looking to be aggressive whenever possible. As you're going to see a little bit of an attack coming forward. Snute will move in a few Banes against this. Well, he actually might feel confident with Ling Roach Ravager, although, yeah, there's a few Banes, just to make sure. Now, we do see a Spire on the way from Snute, so we're probably going to see him going in towards a Mutalisk play here, a Mutalisk switch, although right now he doesn't have the money for that. Only at 150 gas, spending a lot of his gas on those Banelings just then, so make sure he survives this attack initially is obviously going to be his first goal. He's also got an Infestation Pit down, so continuing to look into the future. He's looking for a Hive Tech, probably Adrenal Glands is one of his first sort of things he goes into. Ultralisks, I wouldn't really say as something he'll go into, but most likely a Great Aspire, and that might just be what the kind of Aspire's for initially anyway. He might not want to go into any sort of Roaches or anything like that, you know? He might want, not want to go into any Ultras or anything like that. He might, that's not what the Aspire's for maybe. He might not want to go into Mutalisk, he might actually just want to go into Broodlords. Hold that focus, a bit of an attack going forwards here as the Ravagers pop some of the force fields. The Balins will roll on in, doing a lot of damage. Drogo is losing a lot right now on this fourth base as Snute just swarms on forwards. And Drogo, 2 Colossi, they're going to go down. Those are expensive units. You really can't afford to lose these, but they both fall. Snute ignores the fourth base. He comes straight towards the front to catch reinforcements and to stop Drogo from rebuilding anything here. An overcharge comes down. We'll see these Zerglings trying to break through these pylons. He'll back away. He'll take down some pylons on the low ground. Instead, wait for the overcharge to dissipate on the high ground. More Lings on the way. He's got a few units just working their way through the fourth base. Corrosive Bile actually catches the Oracle there as another Colossus pops up. And that's going to be going down very swiftly as the Zerglings get on top of it once more. Depth warping in here as well to protect, but Snute has so much money in the bank. Whatever he decides to build here is going to be very difficult for Drogo to clean up. There's going to be 41 more Banelings. Snute is just going to Ling Bane his way to victory, it would seem, here in game number 2. Snute is dominating this series so far. In this second game, I mean, he just saw an opportunity, attacked, got a couple of Corrosive Biles down to pop the force fields. The Banes were able to close in on the army, connected, splashed, boom, they were dead. As we see the Ling Bane moving forwards, looking to see what's going to be going on, looking to see if he can end the game right now. A few force fields available for Drogo, but not many. And actually, we're just going to see those Banes starting to roll in towards this third base again. The unit's going to have to come down the round to try and protect this, and that's where the force fields are not going to be as effective. A few Banes peel away, the rest go towards the mineral line. Probes are starting to go down, overcharges popped. The Banes will continue to move away. GG is called. Drogo will tap out of game number 2, and Snute will take the 2 advantage now in game number 3 of this on Galactic Process. To the top right hand side, we're going to have our red Protoss player. From my insanity, he really does need to try and, well, figure something out right now, because it isn't working for him. Whatever is happening just isn't working just yet. He needs to try. I don't know, does he try to change it up completely? Does he just say, like, do the same because I feel I'm doing it right, I'm just making small mistakes? So top right hand side, it is PtitDrogo from my insanity, the red Protoss player. In game 3 of this best of 5, he's 0-2 down. Right here. As we have to the bottom left, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. It's Snute. Let me just tab very quickly, guys. I have to very quickly pause my own stream just to try and save the FPS a little bit. Thank you very much, Lassie, who donates $5 and just says BlizzCon in the message. Thank you very much, Lassie, for the $5 donation. Can we get some STI hearts in the chat, please? My donation goal the next couple of months is to help fund my trip to BlizzCon this year, guys. Again, because I had this TV thing come up this week, I've been very busy. I haven't been able to make my BlizzCon video yet, but it is something I'll be making in the next couple of days. So it will be up after this weekend, 100%. We're going to be doing a lot of kind of fundraising sort of things to make sure that I can make sure that I can get to BlizzCon, because I know it's a big donation goal. We're going to make sure it's going to work out. So thank you very much, Lassie, for the $5 donation. Appreciate it. Let's see that love in the chat, guys. As we're just going to be seeing early on in game number 3, Probe has, well, just been across the map to scout the hatch gas pool. Snute not going to play anything crazy just yet. Now, this is a map where you can't really, as Snute, play the same style as what you were just playing in the last 2 games, I don't think. This map, I mean, there's so many rocks in it. I mean, I guess once you open up the rocks, actually, Snute's style might become very effective. But before you take down those rocks, I mean, even when the rocks are down still, it's good for kind of counterattacks, but there's so many choke points. Choke point here, choke point there, choke point here. I mean, this Protoss player can go up to multiple bases with kind of choke points to defend very easily, and I just don't think Snute is going to be playing the same thing. I think he'll try and play maybe a Lurker style or something. Let's see, we do see a Twilight Council on the way, and this earlier Twilight is always going to be for something aggressive, and it is going to be the Resonating Glaives. Might see a Dark Shrine as well as a follow-up, but the very early Resonating Glaives here is already just going to be something which we look at as a, well, a way for our Protoss player to get super aggressive very early. I imagine this might actually even be a, I guess it's not that early a Twilight, I guess it's for PvZ. Twilight's actually kind of standard for Resonating Glaives, so very standard Resonating Glaives build here. I sort of had it in my mind that it was PvT for some reason, where kind of the single Twilight on its own would be very kind of dangerous. We're throwing on the way down from Snute again. Right now, he isn't changing his build. He's actually going to try and catch this Adept. He gets the, not quite a surround on it, so the Adept will continue to move away. Carrying here, and Snute just trying to make the most of it. The rest of his Lings coming in. Does he get the kill? He does indeed. Adept goes down, as we're going to be seeing. Lings will continue to move forward. Looking for another Adept kill here. The more Adepts you lose early, the worse your attack is going to be, or the less effective your attack is going to be, you know, a couple of minutes later on. So Drogo has to make sure not to lose too many Adepts like that. We saw him the other day against Tude Ming in the first game. It's actually the first game he played in this event. He played this Resonating Glaive opening, and he lost his first 2 adepts out on the map, and then he went across with 4 adepts instead of 6 or 8, and then he lost those as well because he only had 4 adepts against the Zerglings. It just didn't work out for him at all. So there's a little bit of a disaster, really, as you're all going to be seeing. The 4th base, or 3rd base, sorry, being set from Drogo here. So 5th base to go with this adept aggression early in the game. Snute with a few roaches on the way out to help him defend this. He's actually got 4. He's going to have 6 roaches and a few Zerglings. So, I mean, it's only 6 adepts. It's not too many. And a lot of this from Snute is going to be about positioning, as he's actually rallying his units out onto the map. This roach wants to try and get back into position. The adepts here are going to lose one of them. They're actually shading backwards, so they're not going to commit on into the base. Pulling back over now to the right-hand side into the 3rd. So, he's going to be putting himself in towards the 3rd base right now, and setting up into a double robo facility. So Drogo are going to go heavy on their mortal count here in the near future. As we see the lair on the way up from Snute, the Evo chamber again. I mean, let's see if he does want to play that sort of Zergling melee upgrade style. We're going to see Snute actually going to go for a bit of a counterattack here. Moving across the map, he will find himself in range of that first pylon very swiftly. I mean, he's just going to pull back, though, I think. There's enough units here with the Mothership Core as well to overcharge. Doesn't look as though this is going to be super effective out of our Zerg players. He's just going to back away. The depths would be silly to kind of commit onto that, though. Would be moving away from their sentries, and would be jumping into a bunch of Zerglings as well, so wouldn't work out so well. Going to be seeing those rocks going to be taken down over here. So Snute just opening up attack pathways for himself on the map. Mothership Core comes over, does see those Zerglings. So Drogo starts to set up a pylon. Might wall this sort of location here. Might just have a pylon ready to overcharge. He pushes the Lings away for now. Just doesn't have to worry about it just yet. Snute as well is starting to take his 4th base. As you'll see, the +1 melee upgrade on the way out. Baneling Nest as well on the way down. And again, we see Snute going into the Spire. This time the Spire is a lot earlier than before. So maybe we see Snute going into Mutalisk this time. Whereas last time I think the Spire may very well have just been a way for him to set up in towards a Greater Spire in kind of the later stages of the game. Either way, this sort of early Spire would definitely suggest something like Mutalisks. And I mean, we look at Drogo's army, and right now, obviously, it's not very good against Mutalisk. It's just sort of Adept, Immortal, and the only things that shoot up are going to be 5 sentries. He doesn't have Blink on the way either, which won't help him out. And so he might just be looking for a very aggressive attack here in the near future as this Warp Prism pops. But if that's what he's looking for, he might be in a bit of trouble if he runs into a whole bunch of Mutalisks out of Snute, because again, he just doesn't have very much to fight against Mutas with. He's got 5 more gates on the way, so he's setting up into 8 gates of production, which is going to be a solid kind of 3-base production setup. For now, he's actually just going to move the Warp Prism across here. He's not going to be bringing his army across. Oh, no, there it is. So army is going to start coming across. So he is going to get ready to go. Maybe through this right-hand side rock. Snute, add on a bunch more Zerglings once again. He doesn't really have the gas to go into a lot of Mutalisks right now. And as we're going to be seeing the Adepts just warping in. Getting ready to start making their way through these rocks. I mean, Snute also another couple of Ravagers, getting some more battles available to him. He's got a few Balers on the way. That's what those sentries are going to be very important against. Get them force fields down, as we're going to be seeing. Well, force fields starting to come up. The Balers aren't ready just yet. There they are, though, and actually very close to these Adepts. Drogo misses his first couple of force fields, so he loses a lot more Adepts than he should very early on in this. A few more Adepts going to warp in. Zerglings coming in again. Roaches and Lings coming in. The Ravagers too. There's the Lings from the right-hand side coming in for the flank, and Drogo continue to try and warp in. Is going to lose absolutely everything over here. He needs to try and lift up those Amors, but the Warp Prism is still in warp in. Most of the Biles will get it very, very low. He lifts up 4 Adepts to get out of this whiff, but Snute just defends once again. As we're going to be seeing those Lings and Ravagers. Well, they're just going to immediately go across the map to counterattack. There's a couple of Robos set up, ready to go. As we're going to be seeing with Lings, Roaches, Ravagers just going counterattacking. I mean, Drogo just lost so much already. It's going to be very hard for him to hold. Nice couple of force fields to split up a couple of Ravagers. Overcharges as well, doing their job for now. I mean, this Warp Prism is being chased down. The first Mutalisk is actually out of the map, and we start to see a bit of a Mutalisk tech switch coming into play. We're going to be seeing these Adepts moving around. I'm just going to be seeing the Lings continue to try and shut down some economy. I mean, Drogo just trying to buy himself time to rebuild a little bit here with this harassment. As we're going to be seeing these Mutalisks just going to be looking around to see what else is going on. We see Corrosive Bile coming down, just missing that Mothership Core. A couple of Ravagers out on their own here. So you have to be careful not to start overcommitting too much around the place. There's the Mutas going in towards the main base. In the main, I mean, there isn't anything. Cannon is building, but it's not ready yet. And so Snute comes in, he'll target the cannon down, and well, this is Drogo going to be, again, pulled all over right now, trying to defend against this. He still doesn't have that much anti-air in his army. A few Stalkers will warp in over here. Snute picks up about 7 workers here before backing away. Gets out with the majority of the Mutalisks, losing 1, I believe. Still so many Lings, a couple of Ravagers as well. As you see Drogo just sitting in the center of the map. A few more Banelan's going to morph in. Snute going to maybe just bring his mutas back here to fight this as well. Again, there's only really sentries here found here. The Zergling's surrounded. There isn't enough force fields to surround the entire army, which means the Banelings will eventually connect. The Warp Prism is going to start warping in a few units, but they're going to get crashed into by Banelings as well. And Drogo just continues to lose units all over the place. These sentries go down. GG. Snute takes the 3-0 in convincing fashion.